Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Musical Mornings. Starting off with a couple announcements that I think are pretty exciting. One, I believe I've fixed my audio issue. This is much better than the webcam mic. I just had to use my looper pedal on the floor, which is great. Two, I'm going to be switching Musical Mornings back to a 5-day-a-week format. I really do think that it should be 5 days a week. I was having a lot of fun with it. So the way that the format's going to go starting in the new month, so that'll be next week, is there's going to be 5 worksheets per week, and there's going to be one warm-up, one of each exercise. So one warm-up, one quiz, one sight reading exercise, one rhythm sight reading exercise, one composition exercise that is a little bit more structured. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Say hello down in the chat for those of you that are regular viewers of this show. Again, if you want to download the PDFs, you can become a dojo member. These exercises are going to be published as a magazine as well. So be aware that that is coming down the pipeline. So without further ado, let's go through our exercises for this morning, and then I will see you guys on Thursday. After that, we'll be switching back to the 5-day-a-week format. So, get my guitar ready here, and we are going to start with technique. So this technique exercise is a basic one. We're going to do different sequences of warm-ups each day. This one is hitting each string 4 times, but you're going to be alternating from I to M. So let me get this thing centered on the screen. And it looks like, just a moment, it looks like half of it got cut off from the art. So just be aware that I'm going from the high E all the way to low E and back up to the high E, and we'll be finishing there. So if we get a nice easy pace going, 4 on the high E, 4 on the B, G, D, A, times to a metronome. We're going to do it once in the show because I want to keep this show a watchable length. So next we're going to be doing find the notes. So you can't see my face anymore, but that's okay. You shouldn't be looking at it. You should be looking for notes. I'm going to give you guys roughly 1 minute to locate these notes in every spot that you can. And then we're going to go through the answers together. Arjit is asking for a series on strumming technique. That's coming down the pipes. Don't worry about that, Arjit. I'm going to be doing a lot of things like that. All right, guys, let's take about 30 more seconds to find these notes. One after another. Just so you guys know the format of this show as we progress through the days in a given month, it's going to get more and more difficult progressively. If you guys are not sure about the music theory, definitely you can check out my music theory video, as well as Music Theory in One Lesson on Amazon or my website, musicandguitarlessons.shop. You can order it. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and find these notes. I'm going to tilt my guitar so that you can see my hand. The first note up there is G. You can find that on the 3rd fret of your high E. You can also find it on the 8th fret of your B or the 12th fret of your G. Next, we have B. That's our open B. It's also the 4th fret of the G, as well as the 9th fret of the B. Next, we have the note D, 3rd fret of the B. This is the 3rd note on the screen, so 3rd fret of the B. We have 7th fret of the G and 12th fret of the D. Next, after that, the 4th note on the screen, first line, open D. That's the 5th fret of our D, or our A. We can get that, an open D. And then the 10th fret of our low E. Next, we have G, the 5th note on the first line, open G, 5th fret of the D, and then 10th fret of the A. After that, we have F, the 6th note. That is the 3rd fret of the D. We can also get that the 8th fret of the A. Oopsies. And if you wanted, 13th of the high E. Next, we have B again. So this is open B, 4th of the G, and then we have 9th of the D. After that, C, 1st fret of the B, 5th fret of the G, 10th fret of the D. And then a low C, 2nd to last on the first line, which is the 3rd fret of the A, as well as the 8th fret of the low E. After that, we have an open A, or the 5th fret of our low E. The 2nd note of the 2nd line is a high C. You're going to grab that on the 8th fret of your high E. You can also get it on the 13th fret of the B. We don't go too much further past the 12th fret in this show because it all repeats after there. Alright guys, let me know how my audio is this time around. 3rd note of the 2nd line, that's B. 7th fret of the high E, 12th fret of the B. Next we have an open G. You can also get that 5th fret of the D and 10th fret of the A. After that, we have an F, 1st fret of the low E. And 2 octaves up after that for F, 1st fret of the high E, and this one can also be played on the 6th fret of the B as well as the 10th fret of the G. After that, we have D, our 10th fret of the high E. And after that, we have E, 12th fret of the high E. 2nd to last note is the A, 5th fret of the high E. And you can also grab that as the 10th fret of the B. After that, we have G, which was our first note, 3rd fret of the high E, 8th fret of the B, and then we have 12th fret of the G. Okay, so there is our note finding practice for the morning. Next, we're going to read a rhythm. So, I'm going to put my guitar down. We're going to take a moment to clap a rhythm. Remember, this show is intended for you to learn musical skills along with guitar. Everybody should do this kind of practice every single day. All the strumming technique in the world doesn't do you any good if you cannot count the rhythm at which you're strumming. Okay, guys, here we go. This is in 3/4. I'm going to give you roughly 30 seconds to look at this. I'm going to count you in. Be careful of the 16th notes. There's a lot of syncopation in this one. Let me know if the difficulty is good for you guys, and all of that good stuff. And please leave some questions in the chat for the few minutes that I have for Q&A at the end. Of course, if you want to be able to print all these exercises off, join the Fretboard Dojo. All right, here we go, guys. Links are at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Stop. All right, guys, let's go through it one more time. Remember, we've got some good 16th notes. There are 2 16th notes per 8th note. A lot of syncopation. Maybe one more count in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. All right, so there's our rhythm sight reading for the day, guys. Very important to practice rhythm separate. It's more of a musical skill if it's in here. You can also take that counting ability to other instruments. So be very careful to go through these. All right, guys, we're going to do the regular sight reading. Got a little melody here on the screen. This one you should read in first position. It's in the key of C major. Now, this is similar to some of Fernando Sohr's writing. Not exactly, but I'm coming up with a number of etudes kind of in his style, and this is one of them. At the end of the lesson here next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a few measures out of this, and it's going to be up to you to fill in the blanks. So it's kind of like a writing prompt. So in order to be successful at this, you have to know the C major scale. Also be aware that in this example, for a moment, I'm borrowing from A minor. So the G sharp has a purpose there. You'll be able to fill your own music in at the end of the lesson here, next, after we read through this. And you don't need to use a G sharp if you don't want to. So I'm going to give you guys roughly 30 seconds to look at this sight reading example. I'm going to walk you through it, and we'll play it. By all means, if you want to have the PDFs printed off before the episodes, you can join the Fretboard Dojo. Links below. Otherwise, the live stream's free for everybody. All right, guys. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's walk through this. We're in 4/4 time. That means that we have 4 beats per measure, as well as we're going to be mixing quarter notes and half notes. So we're starting off in C major, and we start off with an open high E, and then we go to an open G. And then C for half note, which is the first fret of your B string. Then we're going to do F, first fret of the high E, then open G again, and D, third fret of the B. Then we're going to do a scale walking its way up, D, E, so third fret of the B, open high E, first fret of the high E for the F, open E again, and then F, E, D. And then we get kind of a repeat of that first statement, that E, G, C, and then we get E, G sharp, D. That G sharp is first fret of the G, and then our D is third fret of the B. Then we get A, C, F, D, and then E, G, and C, and then our low C from there. Now the counting is just quarter notes and half notes. The quarter notes, of course, are the filled in note heads, and the half notes are the ones that are not filled in, quarter notes lasting 1 beat, half notes lasting 2. I'm going to count you guys in nice and slow. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was it. very, very slowly. Next, let's take it just a little bit quicker. So what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I've got a couple questions coming into chat. I'm going to take a look at your questions right after this next section, guys. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let's get rid of the sight reading, and I'm going to bring up the sight writing part. That's kind of my own term for it. Now, we have parts of what we just read and then empty parts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this graphic off the screen here, and we're going to take a look at actually my Sibelius, where I write this stuff so that I can key in some notes. So in order to add on to this and have some fun with it, we have to make sure that we understand what we're doing. So the first part here is just an arpeggio of C major, right? So C major is C, E, and G. And this E, G, C is just a out of order arpeggio of C major. Now when we sight read this, we then immediately went to a G7. But we don't have to do that this time around. We can do something different. So if we're going to maybe arpeggiate a chord, why don't we pick something like D minor? So we can do bum, bum, sorry, bum, 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 right? So instead of using open G again, we can get an A. And we're taking that same shape. So we would take F down to A, and then up to D. And that's the same kind of shape. If you see on the screen, it looks roughly like the notes are moving in the same way, except this time we're doing a D minor chord, which is the 2 chord. And then of course let's leave this next set of notes, the D, E, F, E, alone, because that is part of the writing prompt. But what do we do after that? Well, we have a couple choices. We could end on a 1 chord, or we could end on some sort of 5 chord. Why not try to end on some sort of 5 chord? Or what we could do is work a scale up all the way to the open E again. That could be pretty effective. So I think let's just try out a 5 chord first. So if our 5 chord is G, B, and D. So if we could do D and then G, B, that would be, I think, a good smooth way to transition down. So we have that D, open G, and then open B. So you're now taking something that you had played before, changing it a little bit and making it your own a little bit. So if we listen to this first line, we have that E, G, C, Da, F, A, D, Dun, D, E, F, E, D, G, B, Da. And we go back into the beginning. Now, what we can do is kind of maybe, and again, this is all writing, so you can do whatever you want. If you're a dojo member, you can print off a blank copy of this and write your own stuff in. We can grab this, maybe this open E, and then leave this stuff the same. So what we get is, maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. If we look, we have an A minor. The reason I used an E7 chord in our last one was because that pulls us to A minor. So what if we did an E7 here, and instead of kind of mirroring the rhythm that time, let's go ahead and do something like that. So you can go E and then G sharp, A, G sharp, A, C, F, B, and then why not just an entire C major chord there? That's another way to end it. So we have C, E, G, C. And why not that E there? Just to make it nice and fully fleshed out. So here's how you can take the sight reading exercise and use the sight writing to further understand what it is that you're doing. I suggest every morning practice session you should be doing something like this, where you're reading something and then you're turning around and using it as a writing prompt. So we'll be doing this every morning. We're running at about 20 minutes, and I don't want to take more than 25 minutes. So I'm going to take a look at y'all's questions, and then there will be a worksheet for my dojo members to download in the members area. Otherwise, I will see everybody else on Thursday. Remember, starting next month, this is going to be a daily thing for the weekdays. So Urbano asks, what were the things that I struggle with the most in the learning journey in the beginning? Probably counting rhythms was the biggest thing, as well as comfortably playing without tension was one of them, and not trying things that were way too hard for me. That was a hard one. I really struggled with, like, I wanted to play this piece, Capriccio Arabe by Francisco Torrega or what have you, when I really should have been working on mastering some simpler things so that my technique was more solid. So Abhishek says, after 7 years of playing guitar, your video helped me understand theory that I didn't understand and avoided. Thank you. You deserve success. Respect from India. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's very nice to hear. That's why I'm here, guys. I want to help everybody learn music. Music is a wonderful gift. It has been nothing but a wonderful gift in my life. So I hope to spread that. By all means, guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be here doing these musical mornings, not just for you guys, but also for myself, because these types of things, if you do them daily, you'll be shocked at how good you get. Tomorrow's Tuesday, so we're going to be working on some different kinds of exercises. Next episode is going to be Thursday, so we're going to work on some different kinds of exercises. As we move into the daily show, I'm going to have Mondays have these types of exercises, Tuesdays have these types, and it's going to be very formulaic, and you're all going to build a lot of great techniques, sight reading ability, and music theory knowledge off of this show. So please tune in. Let me know if this time works. Let me know how you like the audio this time around. As well as please sign up for the dojo membership, anywhere between $2 and $25. The $25 and $20 level, guys, are moving into the next month, and this is going to be one of my really fun projects that I'm working on. You guys are actually going to end up getting these as a hard copy in the mail, each month's exercises. So I'm working on volume 1 right now, and I hope to have it done by the end of the week. The first months may ship out a little late, but if you guys want to step up to the $20 or $25 a month level, then you will get these as a hard copy book form every month, month after month, so that all you have to do is open it up and you have enough material to make you as good as you possibly can get. So guys, thanks for the questions. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and also check out my other videos or musicandguitarlessons.com. See you guys.